to draw some petty cash. We should take her out to dinner. We don't want to lose her.
This magnificent feast here represents the last of the petty cash.
Okay, slow down. Chew your food.
Tiki Spots On!
What the fuck was that?
hell was that? And we're out. All right. All right. That's it. Amen.
This podcast is over. I'm out.
Well, hey everyone, it's Sabrina here, and welcome to another fun episode of the Petty Cash Podcast, where, as we all know, this podcast represents the last of the Petty Cash. And I am your host this week, and joined by me, as always,
Vinny.
Joe. Charles.
And Danny.
The boyfriend was last. Sad.
I don't
You're
know why
still
for
reading
some
off
reason
the
I went into
script?
that. I'm sorry. I feel like I'll forget if I don't.
Just make shit up.
Like,
Like, we have a script?
I mean, we all have our own little ways of introducing our
That's
episodes.
true. That's true.
yeah.
Because I always try to mix it up with you guys by switch up
Your
the
classic one is "Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Petty Cash Podcast."
Yeah.
I forgot that's what I do.
Yeah.
Whereas Sabrina's is like slowly evolving into like, Tokyo and Kauai. She's going to be like, Konnichiwa! Oh, God. No.
Where's the gun? Where's the gun?
Oh my god. Yeah, no, literally just before this, we have recorded Vinny's episode.
Yeah, because I ran
I'm not
out.
supposed to know that. It's all ruined.
Yeah, in my previous episode, I had no idea what to talk about because honestly, I love to bring serious stuff to the table, but I feel like we already did that with Joe's Hot Ones because we did get into deep conversation.
That was a really good episode.
Yeah, that was a good one.
And Ronan, you were heard, man. So, yeah.
If you have any more of that, please bring it to the table. I would love to have that.
Oh, God, yeah. We'll get there eventually.
But let's bring
so,
some real hot ones. Let's bring some wings and shit.
All right, you guys are beginning your own. Or like, get the sauces, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Ghost pepper.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say you already had some sauces, didn't you? Like when you first moved in, you had like a set of 3 sauces.
Oh, the Track Guy sauce.
Yeah, I need to buy more because we're
Yeah, we
we're
had,
all out of them.
Beef, chicken, and taco sauces. Like you pour them on the.
Oh, okay.
On
Yeah.
the correct stuff. The taco one and the chicken one were excellent.
Nice.
Yeah, I didn't actually need to order more because they came in a 3-pack, but you can buy them separately. But the 3-pack is cheaper for some reason.
Bundle.
Yeah, I guess.
Buy in bulk.
Costco.
Oh, there. But for this week's episode, I'm gonna go along the lines of what I did for my last episode, which was video games that make you feel, but this time TV shows that make you feel. And then we're gonna start this off with our combined TV show right now that I've made him watch, Miraculous Ladybug.
Yeah, we finally finished.
Finished it.
5 seasons, 2 specials, 1 Christmas episode, and 1 Netflix movie.
And
You
a
poor
partridge in a
soul.
pear tree.
Absolutely. No, the show is fantastic. It sounds weird. It sounds weird to say it this way, but it really is comparable. It's comparable to the first 5 seasons of Clone Wars. The first 2 seasons were clearly, obviously geared towards children ages like 8 to 12, and then the story started like getting better, and like the story writing was picking up in season 3, and it's like okay, it shifted from 8 to 12 to like 10 to 14-year-olds, and then by like seasons 4 or 5, like the storytelling clearly matured, and those last 2 seasons were fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, it's on Netflix, but only the first 3 seasons, and then the new movie. But everything else is on Disney Plus.
Disney Plus, where everything is falling into place.
Heartbreak feels good in a place like this.
Horror feels good in a place like
Did you
this.
see they got
Yeah.
taken down because of AMC?
Dude,
Oh.
I freaking loved that. And that was actually smart. If they ever did that for AMC for like the Halloween season, that'd be perfect.
That would have been.
It would have been because it was so good.
Or even for like horror films, like just throw that up there.
Exactly. Yeah, and then you have the one with like Michael Myers where he's not saying a word, but he's just walking along. And then like every now and again is like in the background you'll see somebody's dead.
Oh no. But you know what you do? You have Michael Myers show up, but then you have the narration of the doctor.
Oh, Dr. Loomis.
Yeah.
No.
Or better yet, have Robert Englund as last performance as, Freddy.
Oh,
There you go.
yes.
Cause here, primetime feels good, bitch.
No, or it's just him. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah,
Yeah, you could just have him. Yeah.
Okay, I see what you're doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, Miraculous Ladybug is fantastic. And at Saboten Con, which we went to this year, we actually got to meet one of the voice actors who was in that show, and she was amazing.
Yeah, I got to work with her. She was so nice. Her normal voice is the voice of the character, which is super cool.
Oh, so
Yeah.
she doesn't like modify it at all.
For that character, she didn't have to modify it like at all.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's just your speaking voice. Cool.
Yeah, I was like, oh, you sound exactly like the character. She was super nice because I got to work with her, and I
It's-
got some autographs and pictures.
That's cool. Sorry, I was gonna jump in and say, like, I follow Tara Strong. It is so weird seeing like some of the cartoon voices coming out of that woman.
Oh, Timmy Turner, I love
Mm-hmm.
it.
Oh yeah.
She's so damn fine.
Yeah.
Let's talk more about her. Now.
There you go.
Now, the movie, unfortunately, though, wasn't great.
Yeah, the TV show was good, but the movie they
Well, that's
didn't
to be
do
expected.
it. No, and the show is not even done. There are going to be 10 seasons with the show.
Yeah, they're currently in production on season 6 and 7.
Sweet mother of God.
Crime and
I give them this. They have the entire story planned out. It's just, it's going to take 10 seasons to tell it.
Well, I mean, at least they've done that. So I know some seasons of shows they just seem to wing it, and it's like, oh, hey, it's actually more popular than we thought.
Like, is it Supernatural that they had 5 seasons and they continue on for like 8 more?
I think so. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've only seen like a couple seasons of Supernatural. Yeah. So
Never watched it.
I only watched like the first 2.
I was the same way, Charles, and then I didn't finish it.
Yeah, I mean, it was good, but I had other things I was doing. So yeah.
But yeah, that's the recent TV show we finished, and then she's currently making me watch the first 2 seasons of High School Musical, the series.
My guilty pleasure show.
That one heck of a mouthful.
Yes.
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
is. It's not bad. The 3rd and 4th seasons were way better than these first 2, but they're watchable.
I mean, it's
Okay.
my guilty pleasure show.
Yeah, I
So.
And how do they make you feel?
Oh yeah, but miraculous though. Put you through a feels roller coaster.
Oh my god.
We watched the last few episodes of season 4. Season 4 ended, and thankfully the last the first 20 episodes were already on Disney Plus for season 5. So season 4 ended no, we're starting season 5 right now. This needs to be resolved. So we immediately started the first 3 or 4 episodes of season 5 that night, just so I could get some freaking closure on that stupid cliffhanger of an ending. It's good.
It's good. It's a feels roller coaster. So much lore with it too. Yeah, Charles, you love the lore.
I knew that's where he was going with it. The law. Law. They can be my brothers and sisters. You betrayed the law. Law.
It's about turn to Judge Dredd here.
I have a brother.
Because my brother?
And then also, you like to call them the French Avengers.
Yes, the French Avengers, all these superheroes that show up in Miraculous Ladybug.
Yeah.
The French.
Avengers assemble.
Are they literally called the French?
No, I just called them that.
No.
'Cause
But there's so many of them.
I tried the French Justice League. It just didn't
No.
fall off the tongue correctly. So it's French Avengers.
Wow.
No comment.
It's a good show though. It's actually fantastic.
Yeah.
But in terms of the shows I've watched that made me feel, I remember back in a little over a decade ago now, when Teen Wolf came out on MTV, the show based off the '80s movie. Man, that first season. I mean, the show as a whole is fantastic, but that first season was so good. Like the horror, the remainder of the season mainly focused on the mythology, the expanding mythology of the show. But that first season was just a straight horror season. It's so good. And the way they handle the werewolf mythos is, the performances, the makeup, the storytelling, and characters. That entire world they created was fantastic.
Okay.
Crickets.
So, all right. Well, I guess I'll hop in here. Okay. So, shows that made me feel
Power Rangers.
Well, yeah. That was something. Are we going just strictly TV show or
Yeah.
TV
Okay.
show.
all right,
Yeah,
all right.
just for
All
this
right.
one.
So yeah, definitely like the Power Rangers as I was growing up. I watched the Power Rangers all the way through In Space.
Oh.
Once they
Wow.
once they got out of the In Space, and I think it went to like Jungle. I can't remember what it was, Jungle Fury or something. I don't know. But once they got from that into the next one, that's when I was like, okay, yeah, I'm kind of done with Power Rangers. But that made me feel just like so happy because it was just such a fun, show, and it got me into other ones like a little bit into VR Troopers, but I liked Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad. Yeah, it was kind of a short-lived one. I think it was Gridman. I think is what it was called in Japan. But then also Big Bad Beetleborgs. That was. Yeah. Oh, that one. Yeah. Just the armors, the weapons, and stuff like that. And it was so much fun. It was just, there's these teenagers and kids, and they could transform into superheroes. And that was just always so much fun.
Were they the Dino Force? Which one was it? Power Rangers Dino Force? Was that what they were called? That one
Dino Thunder.
Dino Thunder. That one I remember.
Oh, I remember that one
specifically, like, coming
too.
home from school watching that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did the same.
The Red Ranger, Tyrannosaurus.
Okay, yeah. So that one was where they not only brought back was it Ron Wasserman? I think Ron Wasserman was the guy that did the original theme.
Okay.
And they brought him back to compose that because if you listen to Dino Thunder's theme and the original Power Rangers theme, you could definitely hear there's a huge influence between the two. So,
And how did that make you feel?
that made me feel freaking awesome. Yeah. But no, I didn't watch Dino Thunder, but when I did hear that about the theme song, I was like, oh, that's really freaking cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's here. And then Star Trek Voyager. That was that one was, oh man, just like the sense of exploration and just like curiosity of like what were they going to uncover next, and then of course just oh man, just like that was what like cemented my love of Star Trek, because I know I started with the Next Generation. Like I didn't start right at the very beginning of Next Generation. I think it was like on season 2, I think, or 3, or something like that. It was whatever was on TV at the time, but that's when I got into it. But then Voyager was the one I was like, yeah, And I know, I think as of late, it's gotten to where people are more accepting of Voyager. But I know when it was out at the time, it was very divisive, and even in an era of not having like the internet and everything like that, or as widely available as we do now, you still would hear like articles that were talking about it being kind of divisive, and some people saying they liked it, some people didn't. Me, I'm like, I enjoyed it because it, I liked Captain Catherine Janeway. I thought she was a great
Kate Mulgrew, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. I thought she did a fantastic job. I thought the rest of the cast did an awesome job, and the sets were cool, and it was modernish, but still had that that somewhat used Star Trek feel. Like it was clean, but at the same time, there was it wasn't like super polished,
Right.
And so, yeah, that was one that I loved that series a lot, and it definitely was inspiring. It definitely
Okay.
So
Yeah, no, going off of that, now since we got our taste for Lower Decks, because I've never seen it, I now like actually want to watch it.
yeah, Lower Decks is awesome just because of the humor, and I'm cool with taking a subject and putting like a funny spin on it. I know some people have been like that are like really hardcore Star Trek fans, and they don't want to. They're like, oh, it's not respecting the material. I'm like, on the contrary, they make a lot of references to like everything in Star Trek. I think they're their heart is on their sleeves with this one. Like they really do like Star Trek, and they're just making it humorous, and I like that.
I just hate how they marketed it like, oh, this is the Rick and Morty of Star Trek.
It's not the
That's-
Rick and Morty of Star
No,
Trek.
but either the animation team or somehow the people involved with Rick and Morty were involved with this somehow. I remember that's how it was advertised to me. I was like, I'm not watching this. But now, after experiencing a few episodes, like, okay, I do want to check this out now.
I think it was because of the sort of animation style where it
Oh.
I almost want to call it as it's a sort of like a nod to Rubber Hose, but also like the tumbling slime effect, if you will. And what I mean by that is in Rick and Morty, whenever like a character gets shot, or whatever, like it's an alien or something, and like something oozes out, it kind of has like that rolling effect with the animation. And I think that's where they're trying to get with this, because I want to say it might have been a similar like art team or whatever that did that, and they have moments like that where it's like something happens and there's like it like rolls with it rather than just being like frame jumps, like something will happen. So I think that's where they were coming from with the whole Rick and Morty
okay, I can see.
thing. So that's why I call it like like that. But yeah, no, it to me personally, I mean, I liked Rick and Morty. It was okay, but
I still need to check it out.
yeah, but personally, I would take Lower Decks any day.
Fair.
Yeah. So
Vinny.
Shows that make you feel. Because we're not all robots here.
I enjoyed that show very much.
Thank you, Howard.
Thank you, Howard. You helped me with my wheelchair. What a shame.
Okay, so if we're gonna dive into shows that make us
Feel anything to make us feel human and don't make us feel like a robot.
okay, Beetlejuice.
Well, give me a break, damn it!
Okay, so if we're gonna talk about shows, I'm gonna try and venture outside the nerd box. Well then. Because when you guys brought up Star Trek, I hate to say this, I kind of spaced out because I remember watching
Spaced out.
That's all, folks.
Good night, everybody. Anyways, no. So when I was a kid and I saw Next Generation, I just saw it as like an adult nerd thing. So it really didn't vibe with me. I'm just like, okay, this is just something I could pass the time, and I would watch it, not really understand it, but be like, okay, so this is it. This is Star Trek, sure. But when it came to shows, like mostly my family watched like shows of Two and a Half Men, Friends. Friends was the biggest one for us. It was kind of like our comfort for home. That's the one thing I can remember is that me and my two sisters and my mom, we loved this show so much. We were highly invested in these characters and the environment they were in. And of course, the whole thing with Ross and Rachel and we were on a break, that whole thing. And so as a kid growing up watching that, it felt like, as cliche and cheesy as this is, it felt like a surrogate family from the television screen, and it just made you feel at home. Like, it made you want to be around these people. And then, of course, Two and a Half Men. That was just kind of like an okay show. Big Bang Theory was definitely the jam.
Yeah.
That was definitely the show that made us sit there and be like, holy crap, this is our lives. Literally our lives. Like, I'm standing next to my group of Big Bang Theory. Holy crap.
Yeah, no, not too far off, man. Yeah.
I'm not crazy. My mother had me tested. Oh, my God. But no, like, because again, like, if we're talking about shows that make us feel, again, Friends was like that surrogate family. I guess one nerdy thing is Batman the Animated Series, because again, we're still on Batman Day.
Still on season 1.
Man, you need to.
You need to catch up.
60 episodes in season 1.
Wah, wah, wah.
Thank you.
I'm liking it though. It's just it's a trek to get through that first season.
Robin, try to keep up.
I'm actually the next episode I'm watching is Robin's Reckoning Part 2 when we finally see this animated origin of Robin. That first part.
Okay, so I got a little spoiler for you about the voice actor. the voice actor that's playing the guy that killed his parents, that's Biff from Back to the Future.
What? Thomas F. Wilson?
Yeah.
Oh shit, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's his voice.
All right.
You'd be amazed with the
butthead.
Hey, butthead, watch where you're walking.
I would say with Batman the Animated Series, a lot of the 2-part origin episodes for some of these characters, the episode stories for both parts are overall great, but it's the first part that's always the strongest that helps set up the story, and then the second part's them fully embracing either their villain side or the rest of the story. But the Clayface episode and the Two-Face episode in particular, the first parts of those stories were fantastic.
That's what you call damn good writers.
It really was. The writing of both Harvey Dent and the guy who's Clayface. Man, I loved those origins so much.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of these origin stories come from this cartoon. A lot of the villains you know of today really... I mean, granted, they had their comic books origins.
Harley Quinn was created in Batman.
Oh, yeah, no, exactly. But then when you see her origins and how she came to be, it's okay, this is how Harley is. So, again, Batman in the animated series was one of those shows that made me feel like a kid being an adult. Mostly because, when you're a kid with autism, not a lot of things catch your attention. And when I watched this show, it was something that I was just gravitated to, and I really can't explain why. But I know for a fact that when I watch this show and I'm understanding the difference between heroes and villains, psychopaths, and mental case conditions, this is where I really got to understand about mental illness. And so that resonated with me as a kid, making me realize, okay, that these people are the way they are because they have a mental problem. Right. So it made me feel like an adult as a little kid. I really understood this stuff for such a young age. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, just because it was an animated show doesn't mean it treated itself like an animated show. The storytelling takes itself seriously.
Yeah, and it's nice. It's nice that they actually do that to make you feel like a kid watching something that you shouldn't be watching.
Right. Yeah. It was written in such a way where it was appealing to the mature side, of the kids, and it just absolutely beautifully written. I mean, that I would imagine that they probably use that as an example in classes and stuff as this is how you write. It's just because so many of those episodes really grab you.
I know that you've told me to watch it. I just haven't yet. But I know I need to. I'm sorry.
You absolutely need to. Yeah, yeah, one of my favorites still of that is the baby doll episode. Where,
I haven't gotten there yet, but I know of that episode.
Yeah, that one. Oof, that one hits.
Joe, got anything?
What, talking about Batman the animated series, or
anything in general, the animated series or even the shows that you feel?
I was gonna say, okay, well, picking up from the animated series in terms of range of feel and everything. I mean, yes, there are episodes where I cry. There was an episode where I was like, "Fuck yeah, I'm gonna kick his ass, Batman!" He outsmarts the other guy and everything.
Exactly.
There was ones that stuck with me, like, "Whoa, what the shit just happened?" and all that. The one that didn't go over the table, but the one that really freaked me out as a kid was it just happens out of nowhere. Or Batgirl dies and everything.
I think that's in season 2 or 3.
That's in the New Adventures.
Okay.
And so what happens is that Batgirl dies, she falls and everything after trying to chase a scarecrow. And at first, as a kid, I'm like, what the hell's going on? Now Gordon wants to kill Batman and everything. Why? Isn't he the good guy and shit? And so that stuck with me as a kid. Let's see, there's, Baby Doll, there's that one. I didn't understand. I'm like, wait, the doll and as a kid, I was just, let's see.
Correct me if I'm wrong, isn't the New Adventures of Batman and Robin just the next seasons of Batman the animated
That's
series?
basically what it is, but there's little tweaks to the animation style.
Yeah, I know the designs were touched up or changed.
I mean, yeah, and so a lot of weird changes that shouldn't have happened. I mean, I loved Mr. Freeze's design from the first couple seasons with Heart of Ice and everything. That was definitely one of the very best episodes. When you get to hear about Nora and Let's see.
Catwoman's design was the worst.
Catwoman's design was definitely the worst. Obviously, the Gray Ghost with Adam West.
Oh, yes,
and the little collector and all that being the villain and shit.
That was so good.
Me and Joe recently watched that episode with the Grey Ghost, and we looked at the toy collector. We're like, oh my god, that's
Maybe we should stop with the with the torpedo, car bombs and all that. But no, that was really cool. Like, okay, and I love that even it showed me the cons of like and troubles of being typecasted in from a TV show, because obviously for people who don't know, Adam West, yes, obviously Batman from the 1966 series, he didn't really much have a job or career after playing Batman because everyone just saw him as playing Batman. And so I'm surprised, that the creators were just like, hey, you kind of suffered from all that. We want you to play a character that's exactly like that, but much more tragic.
like it's really heartbreaking when you see this guy trying to keep up with rent, not getting any roles, and he just gets frustrated because they tied this into like the guy who originally played Superman, didn't they?
George Reeves?
No, not George Reeves. The first original Superman the first original actor that played Superman after he put on the cape and
No,
undies.
it was George Reeves. Yeah.
Oh, it was George Reeves? Okay.
Yeah.
My bad. I'm sorry.
Well, Christopher Reeves and George Reeves, they share a last name, but they're not related.
Okay, that's where I got mixed up. My bad.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
No. I mean, there's like little lessons with like each of the shows that we watch and all that, and those are the ones that kind of gravitate towards me and all.
Oh, that's cool. That it has that.
And I'm not a big fan of the show. I haven't really watched it, but there was this show called Scrubs.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
That's definitely a good one. Definitely the one that stuck with me is the Brandon Fraser episode.
Yeah.
And do you guys know what happens in it?
Yes.
Okay.
Recap for the audience, because I'm trying to remember that
Yeah,
one.
it's been a while.
Okay, so Dr. Cox, I think his brother-in-law, he comes in from out of town, and he just got back from like this vacation or whatnot. He's like, hey, buddy, after you're done with your shift and all that, let's go hang out and everything. And so Dr. Cox, one of the characters, he's just get so like wound up with a couple patients and everything, and then everything kind of like happens like abruptly and all that. Oh, sir, something happened and all that. Let's, we got to check on this patient and everything. And so Dr. Cox is like, okay. And then Brandon Fraser, he comes up and he's like, hey man, what are you doing right now? He's like, oh dude, like work, you know how it is. And so as you follow from this episode and you kind of see Brandon Fraser, we all know from, The Mummy and See No Man.
Mm-hmm.
And as they're going through the show and everything, you see Zach Braff's character, the main character of the show, JD. He's all like trying to like comfort like Dr. Cox and everything. He's like, oh man, like, I tried, sir. I really, really tried. And Dr. Cox is just kind of like emotionless and everything. He's just like, oh, you didn't try hard enough and all that. And he's just kind of like zoned out and everything, making Zach Braff feel bad. Mm-hmm. And so during the course of the episode, it's just Brandon Fraser and Dr. Cox, and they're kind of going what he does on a daily basis and everything, going through life and everything at his work. And then towards the end of the episode, you see him, Dr. Cox in a suit and everything, and he's just like, yo, man, like, aren't you like gonna dress up and all that? And so he's walking to Brandon Fraser, his brother-in-law. Brandon Fraser's like, what are you talking about, man? I am dressed up and all that. And so he's like, hey, but on the, down there, I want you to do something for me. And Dr. Cox is like, you can't keep me from getting drunk. And so Brandon Fraser goes like, you have to forgive yourself. And he's just like, okay, I'll try and all that. But, aren't you going to take pictures of, of your wife and babies and all that? And then you see out of frame, here comes Zach Braff. And he's all like, taking pictures of what? And so he's like, my brother and all that, all his little adventures and everything. And JD just goes like, where the hell do you think we are right now? And then you come to find out, like, Dr. Cox is basically at a cemetery. And then you come to find out that the patient who died was actually Brendan Fraser.
Mm-hmm.
And so what happened was that like you don't really think about it until like, you know, Brandon Fraser, his character, he was a photographer and all that, and he would carry this picture all around. He would basically carry it until the day he died and all that. So the reason why Brandon Fraser was on this journey, it's because he had cancer. So he was just recollecting all like memories and everything like that. It hits you in the fucking gut. Like I remember just sobbing like a little baby and all that. Like, oh no, not Rick O'Connell. Like he's supposed to live and all that. And you felt bad for Dr. Cox and everything. And I was just like, cried, you know. Like the Onion Ninjas are out again. And so, I mean, I had to really think about it because there was like a lot of shows that especially made me, you know, cry and all that. I'm trying not to be like Kevin Smith, like all crying, sobbing, you know, like, you know.
Get back in there, Tia.
Yeah. What?
No, I was gonna add to that. Like there was this one episode of Scrubs I remember that stuck with me throughout life, and it's Dr. Cox was that one doctor who was kind of like a smartass, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
He hated.
Just
He hated JD. Yeah.
No, he got really buddy with one of his patients, and they got a bunch of hearts that they were going to use as transplants to replace into several patients.
Well,
Yeah, it sounds
basically,
familiar.
what happened was that this patient came in. They don't know. So there's this patient that arrived, and they don't know how this person died and all that. And so what happens was that there was these 3 patients that needed surgery and all that. So of course they were like, you know, didn't have any organs. These people were going, you know, to die. So basically, they did the surgery. You know, they, you know, took organs from the person that died and put it into these people.
Yeah.
And during the course of the episode, you don't really know what's happening until you find out like what the diagnosis is from the person that died, and that corpse had rabies.
And yeah,
And then they had the song "How to Save a Life," and it showed all the bodies of like those patients disappearing, and it was like.
It was
If you don't know what, you know, doctors and nurses go through, the reason why they're like kind of like automatons and all that, like feel and all that, again, like
it's this episode that really shows it because
you know, because fuck, like when you know, mom's doctor basically kind of told my dad like the news and all that, it really like. How can you be so emotionless and all that? But then, you know, you really think about something like this episode in particular, how you're not just the only family. There's a lot of, you know, families that go through this shit.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I guess like not forgive Mayo Clinic, but it was just kind of like, okay, like I understand, but I could see like people being a doctor is great. It pays well, but what I want to live with, you know, failing patients. Hey, you know, that's something, you know, to think about. It's definitely so. I love shows, TV shows, feeling that challenge you. And I'm not talking let's fight the pig, you know, from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, shove food in its mouth. You know, we want to kill a fat bastard. Here's some spices.
let's Gordon Ramsay the shit.
You know, okay, yeah, there's some serious moments, and there's what?
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Because I was just gonna add to that episode.
Oh no, yeah, I know that episode. As soon as you said like, I was like, oh, okay, wait, I know where he's going with it. The funniest, and it's fun. It's great being a third person perspective, especially with these 3, you know. And so, Stranger Things season 4.
Oh God.
Oh, here we go.
I'll be in the other room.
That was emotions aside. That was just a fun night.
It was a fun night. The last 2 episodes. And Charles, I know you haven't really watched the show, but it was nice seeing like the person who kind of like didn't really give a shit, but it's just like, okay, I'll be here for the fun. But like, and so like one of Danny's friends, Noah, and then we had Vinny, and then you know we were at Danny's place at the time. And we were watching it, and of course, a spoiler alert, you know, fucking like Max, like, you know, dies and all that. Dies in quotes.
Well, dies, but then
You know, bones broken and all that. You know, she goes blind.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where, you know, your boyfriend, you know, here Sabrina was feeling.
Look at like Lucas.
Like, okay, so I have a video of this
Yeah,
because
he
I,
does.
yeah,
Oh yeah, I remember it because you told me about it. But I had other plans.
But
so I
you
couldn't
know,
have
it was funny.
gone.
So I kind of like pan because I didn't really care about Danny's friend. But then like I go to Charles. Charles was like,
Oh wait, Charles. So wait, you haven't seen any of?
so okay.
But wait, Charles, you haven't seen like any of Stranger Things?
Not much of it. No, I've little bits here and there.
Oh,
He gets- yeah,
interesting. Okay.
He'll get, you know, it's nice. It's nice him catching up and seeing
Okay.
it with new perspective. So,
Alrighty.
you know, that's the beauty of revisiting these shows. Again,
Yeah.
that feeling again, like, because that's what
Mm-hmm.
we felt. But, so, you know, Danny, Sabrina, it was the most hilarious thing.
Please show me this
like-
video after the podcast.
He's like by the couch. No. Hold on. So there was that, you know, he was kind of holding, he was like, covering his mouth. He's like, redhead bitch, you better survive.
say that.
Yeah, no, but it was just like,
so fun. I need
and he's
to
just
see
like
this
breathing,
video.
like, but he, you know, he's just kind of like, his mouth just like, and then best one because I zoomed at this guy, and you could like, hello, darkness, my old friend. You just see Vinny go like. And he just standing up, kind of like the big kid. You just took his train set away. You just took his McDonald's like vanilla cone away, and he's just like, get in the scene with Lucas. Erica, help!
That's what got
Yeah.
me. Is Erica, help! Like the line delivery is like.
Okay.
Yeah, so the Erica part was
Alright.
sad, but the one that got me was Dustin reacted to Eddie. I was just like, fucking shit.
Yeah. Like, Eddie, don't die, and
Yeah.
everyone's
I know
favorite
that's
season
like,
character.
yeah.
And,
And came back for a second time of crying because when they ask where Eddie is and you see Dustin just like going,
with his uncle and all that, and yeah, it was like, aw, next. But you know, next to the season 5 character, hopefully, it's you know the character.
Oh, right, yeah, season 5. That's the last season.
Yeah,
right?
that's it. That's
yeah,
gonna be.
Wow.
Won't be released till 2025.
Yeah.
So
Oof.
yeah, if they release it, you know, later in next year, you could tell they totally fucking rushed it. Why does it suck? Well,
I wonder why.
yeah.
It's the last season. They should not. Or
They're going to blame the strike, which
is
is going to be the poorest excuse.
Ugh.
Hey, you have a deadline. Either you fucking, you know, do it or not. And so, anyway, so, yeah, that's definitely a show, you know, made you feel and all that recently. There's Quantum Leap. You know, I never got excited more for theme songs when it came to Knight Rider and the A-Team.
yeah.
Dun, 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 dun,
I remember the
dun,
show that actually kind of like scared, you know, as a kid at first, it scared me. Man, was seeing the Hulk transform.
Oh,
yeah.
No, like no computer work and all that. But you see Bill Bixby in the eye. The eyes were kind
Yeah.
of like, you know, dun, oh, he drops the wrench. You know, Dr. David Banner. You know, and so you're like, okay, you know, here it goes. Honestly, yeah. If you had like, you know, if you had Danny and Vinny playing, you know, David Banner and the Hulk, it could work. Yeah, and then put the Hulk hair on Vinny, like dun 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 dun, and then the half picture.
Wow, that actually could work.
And when
yeah.
I knew when I wasn't gay, you know, when I wasn't gay, was you know watching Wonder Woman, be like.
Oh yeah.
You know, Linda Carter. I'm
Yeah.
like, dang, you know,
Baywatch.
Baywatch.
Baywatch was the show I saw when I was a kid. I'm like, now I'm.
Oh, sorry,
definitely-
Sabrina, but
No,
yeah,
you're fine.
Wow, look at them run.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
And then like you see like a bunch of jokes I would never make fly on you know today's television. Obviously, Chris was definitely a big influence. Like I don't know, shows that like just made me laugh out loud. I mean, Kids in the Hall, Mystery Science Theater 3000,
Yes.
with Mike and Joel.
Mike and Molly, that was a good show. That
Mike and Molly was good. Yeah.
my sisters and my mom loved watching One Tree Hill and Gilmore Girls back to back, but that was where I just clawed down. I'm like, that That's the one. Those are the two shows. Like I watched One Tree Hill because it was actually not bad. Like I even did a rerun with my mom recently on One Tree Hill and the OC. Those shows were actually pretty good. But me as a kid back then, I was just like, nope, I'm out.
And if you're gonna do like definitely nostalgia, right? Obviously, like one of the best shows, I think, Cobra Kai.
Cobra Kai.
I still remember
Charles, the eye roll.
Getting excited for the show coming out. Like I love the Karate Kid movies growing up. Sorry, bug.
Anyway, yeah.
But I remember like watching that first season back when it was premiering on YouTube Red, when it was called that. My parents were like, oh, it's Karate Kid, it's whatever. Come next year, they finally watched like, okay, this actually is pretty good. Season 2 was still on YouTube Red. Then they moved everything over to Netflix for season 3 and beyond. And I feel like once they moved to Netflix, the show just the quality just improved tenfold.
Oh,
I thought it was a bad show the previous 2 seasons, but everything just kept getting better. Mm-hmm. And then we're getting the final season sometime soon.
They know exactly when to give it up and all that. Like, because if you keep extending it, you're just gonna dilute it with more nonsense. And so
they can't. They have the scripts though, right?
I think they're done.
They're done.
I
know they did
not
the table,
finished filming, but
they
it's
did the
the
table read
yeah.
at least earlier this year.
Yeah. And so, I mean, Cobra Kai, like the scene that won me over. Oh my God. Okay, so we're watching the show. Okay, it's pretty funny. This is obviously a Johnny Lawrence for kind of centering around the bully of the first movie, and so the scene that won me was again we want to see the Karate Kid and all that, and again this is how you do nostalgia, right? Star Wars sequel trilogy, and so Last Jedi. But anyway, when you see Ralph Macchio and he goes to the the grave of Mr. Miyagi and all that, and he's all like, oh man, life is so hard and everything like that, show me, if you're here you can show me the answers and all that, or I know you're probably had some secrets of your own, you just have a better way of hiding it. And so they had like the little Karate Kid flute, and then so of course towards the end of that episode, man, when you see Ralph Macchio put on the Karate Kid bandana and he puts on the gi and it played the build up.
The second episode of the first season.
Yeah, I think so. And then so like what happens is you hear that song play and he's doing his kata and everything, and then it won you over.
Yeah.
Like okay, like this is not just. This is the next, the Karate Kid after the next Karate Kid. But yes, all right, we're definitely on board with this.
Yeah. Please, can we get Hilary Swank for the final season?
We'll see, Dan. We'll definitely see.
I hope they do the final season justice.
Yeah.
What's kind of funny is my sister recently was talking about how she was rewatching those shows like Full House and Family Matter. Like we grew up.
Family Matter.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Oh man, I remember watching that. I think it was Nick at Night back in the mid 2000s when they were running those in, like into the evening and like early mornings. That's when I fell in love with the show. Man, I own the first season on physical. They released the other seasons on physical. I just never got them, but now they're thankfully all streaming. But I remember, especially during 2020, that was one of like the 3 shows I binge watched that summer. Oh man, so good.
So my sister was talking about how she was rewatching those shows, and she was like, "I'm disappointed." I'm like, "Why are you disappointed with those shows?" She goes, "Because they set it up like a happy, pampy family show and all this stuff. Like, none of it's real. And then they go through all these trials where they talk things over and patch things up. Families aren't like that. What the fuck?"
It's a sitcom family.
Yeah.
I mean, there were simpler times. I mean, when I watch those shows, even when I see like all the specials and everything that people on YouTube just like, this is what was on TV, in the 90s. Man, those are ones that make you feel, dude.
Yeah,
like I'm transported back as a kid. Like I even sent you links of like the Halloween specials from like Fox Kids and all that, and so it was just like, oh my God, yeah.
Remember the Halloween episode of Family Matters with Steve-O?
Oh yeah, the puppet, yeah.
That scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. I was just like, oh God, no, not again.
There was Full House, and then I can't forget about shows like Jerry Springer,
Seinfeld.
Oh yeah, definitely
like
Seinfeld. Yeah.
What's going on in there? We're witnessing greatness, Jerry.
I love the memes.
I love that so much.
Well, and then there was other ones too, and this one's gonna go back a bit further. I don't know if, but Cheers.
I know Cheers a little
Yep,
bit.
Cheers, yep.
So that one's on my list to watch because I don't remember the show at all when I was a kid. I do remember watching I Love Lucy as a little
Yes,
one.
I Love Lucy.
yes.
Yep, that was
I
one.
mainly
that
know
was-
Cheers through Frasier.
Oh, okay.
gosh,
Yep.
Yes,
That's
okay,
true. That's
yeah.
right.
And
Prince of
that's
Bel-Air.
coming back. Frasier's coming
Fresh
back.
Prince of
yeah.
Bel Air. Yep.
Yeah.
There
I've
you
seen
go.
a few
episodes of
Everyone
Fresh
had to
Prince.
sing that song. Will Smith, I know, canceled right now because of Chris Rock, but
Is
you
he
know,
still canceled? I feel like
whatever.
people have
He's
gotten
just
over
he's
it.
just not having a career.
He's just off doing his own thing right now in public.
But like a great, obviously the longest running show. I still probably watch this very day, and of course, the great one came back last night. Oh man, was seeing The Rock come back to pro wrestling.
yeah.
I don't care. That is the longest. Yeah, like WWF, WWE will never stop.
Dude.
Yeah.
Didn't both The Rock and John Cena come back?
Yeah, well, that's the funny thing. After the strike, they got to find a way to make money. So, hey, come on back. Yeah, you can't see me. Just bring it, bitch. And I was just like, yeah, here we go.
I just recently posted on my Instagram story, this kid gets his ass beat by a flying table, and I made a joke being like, well, that's what you get for trying to fight John Cena. You can't see him.
Yeah.
I even threw the theme song on there just to go.
So, of course, in the mid to late 90s, early 2000s, it was called the Attitude Era. This was TV,
yeah.
TV 14, and they could get away with anything. Like if you cross chop, your groin area, making the X and all that. All friends did it in elementary school at the time. We was suck it and everything, Degeneration X and all that. And so, yeah, of course, there was all these scantily clad women and all that, and been oh damn, look at Sable, look at Trish Stratus, look at Lita and all that. Mom came into the living room. What are you boys watching? And boom and all that. But watching Stone Cold, that's the bottom line because Stone Cold said so and all that. And of course,
Get a hell yeah.
yeah, and then hell yeah, and so Mankind and all that. You have The Undertaker.
Hulk Hogan.
Oh, yeah. Hulk Hogan came back early 2000s. But Triple H, it was a real piece of shit back then. I remember getting mad at the TV, whenever he beats up Stone Cold and The Rock. And I'm
Joe's tossing tables.
I would rock bottom my friend through the lunch table just because, and do the people's elbow and all that. And so, what?
Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero.
That was the ruthless aggression era from the mid 2000s too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
So
interesting.
still with the Attitude Era, but my mom at the time, she was just oh my god, I don't like any of this. I don't like any of this. But
Says all parents.
Yeah.
Okay, at first, it's just oh my god, I don't want to watch this. But I do want to watch when this man appears, and I have to play this theme just a little bit, because when that song came on, my mom was glued to the TV. She was just this man is definitely going. And he comes out through the crowd. Dude, and you're he's gonna whoop some ass, dude. And you're yeah, and you're just holy shit, this guy, oh man, he's gonna open. I'm seeing Stone Cold's line. He's gonna open up a can of whoop ass.
So what was your mom's reaction to that?
She's wait, he has to say it. And then what Dwayne Johnson, what The Rock would do at the time would be with the microphone. Finally, The Rock has come back to Phoenix, or whatever city he was in, and it got the crowd pumped up, and we're yeah, all his promos and everything. He's just ripping his opponents a new one to the point there doesn't need to be a match. He fucking made fun of him on live TV and all that. It was just, if you guys watch it, just pick any part in wrestling, it was just that's pretty damn funny. He comes out. Hold on. I have to play this because you could just hear the audience go insane. I don't know. I'll give you enough.
Wow, listen to that crowd.
Insane. 2001.
Wow.
And look at that. People on their, feet with,
With
posters.
signs and everything.
This-
yeah, like, no.
Whoa.
And he's walking out.
Yeah.
Overpacked.
Oh, hold on. When he gets up there, usually to the corner, my mom was just like, "Gago," and he raises the fist. And look at all those camera flashes. No, not a phone, not a cell phone in sight, not a smartphone. Can you smell it?
Smell it poster, yeah.
He's gonna whoop ass, dude. There's a reason why Dwayne Johnson got picked up for the role. The Mummy Returns, and then he became, like he was definitely more than, than wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And to see him come back, it's nice. He's giving back the what the company has given him and everything. So
Giving back to the fans that have started with him since the early 2000s.
and yeah, if you want to talk about a TV show that made you feel in all ranges, it's there. Like even seeing like wrestlers, sadly, who passed away way too early. You had Roddy Piper who passed away, Macho Man Randy Savage passed away. Dude, Eddie Guerrero, one of the saddest ones. Whenever like a wrestler dies and all that, they do a final 10 count bell, which is basically a moment of silence, bing, and like it cuts to like audiences' faces of like recently there was a wrestler named Bray Wyatt, and he sadly passed away at the age of like 35.
I think it was 36. Yeah.
Or 36, yeah,
I was like, oh my
maybe,
gosh.
yeah. And so it was just like, God damn, dude. And these guys are on the road, ridiculous. Like, I mean, I can not do an insane schedule like that. Like
on the road, like 48 out of the 52 weeks of the year.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's nuts, man. And like, if you're a high-profile superstar, you better be on that plane. You better be on your way here and all that to do these things.
It's weird to think of wrestling as a TV show, but you're right. It's a form of entertainment that has been going on for nearly
They're
6
live.
years.
There is no cuts.
No, yeah.
If they screw up on TV, I mean, there was a scary one where there was this wrestler, Jerry the King Lawler, and he had a heart attack right on the air too.
Okay, I think I
And
heard
there
of
was this guy, Michael Cole, one of the announcers, and he was a fucking heel and a face. So heel is basically a bad guy, a bad guy in pro wrestling. A face is basically the face of the company, the good guy. And so he went from the biggest heel, and it was a terrible one at that, to being a big face when he was basically trying to tell the audience this isn't part of the show. I'm doing everything I can, headset to relay the message, the news to you, like what's currently going on. King, please come out of this. And that made me feel like, yeah, I don't want the King to die. This is the guy that fought Andy Kaufman, put him through a pile driver. And so, yeah, I mean, if you want to talk about like range of emotions, wrestling is where it's at. It's just not about wrestling.
I don't remember what match this was, but I remember seeing like this one dude going like in the audience, just like wide-eyed, shocked at what happened. I forget what match. It
Okay,
was.
so the wide-eyed one with I know exactly what you're talking about. Is the purple shirt, black guy. and
Yeah,
all
yeah,
that. The Undertaker. Now,
Oh my
since
god.
Halloween. Okay, I was talking to a couple friends about this because now it's part of my Halloween tradition. Anything pre-WrestleMania 30, which was a terrible decision. The Undertaker, the dark character and all that, yeah, when you hear that gong, man, you're gonna fucking die. Like he had at the time an undefeated streak at WrestleMania, and it was insane. Like 20 wins, no losses.
Wow.
And this is a guy who fought like Hulk Hogan at the time, Jimmy
Oh.
Hawk, Superfly Snuka. I mean, Ric Flair, woo! Triple H, Batista before he became Drax and all that. Edge. Oh my God, man! Like I have to watch like a match of his now. When you go to these things live, and I know you guys are not fans of pro wrestling. When Raw and SmackDown are here or whatever pay-per-view, go to the shows because it's better live. And man, you could feel the energy of the crowd. Like we went to JD and I, a friend of mine, we went to the Reliant Center in Houston, Texas, and this is where they had WrestleMania 25, and we saw one of the best
it's number one in one of the best WrestleMania matches of all time, and it was basically Shawn Michaels, the Heartbreak Kid, and the Undertaker.
Wow.
That is like my go-to match. Like if I was introducing anybody to wrestling, because again, this is the Undertaker's undefeated streak, and we're like, okay, who's gonna fucking take the dead man down and all that? But then when you kind of like saw like Shawn Michaels, like holy shit, and these guys have been in the company ever since, the mid to late '80s and all that, and then here they are like 2011 or something, no, 2010 I think, and so when you see them perform and all that. Half the crowd like Undertaker, HBK, Undertaker, and they're just doing back chops and all that, and these guys are like putting a 40-minute performance.
Oh my god!
There was a part that was really fucking scary, and there was a part where Shawn Michaels, he's outside of the ring, but then you see this again. Undertaker's a tall dude. He, for a guy to he's gonna Irish whip from the ropes and jump from the top rope, and then when you see it live. And we had high seats and everything, but we could see it. You just see this, Undertaker just leap from the top ropes, but then to break his fall, obviously Shawn Michaels, he dodges it. He grabs a cameraman, and you just see, and you heard the snap, and you're like, oh, like everyone just goes like, did the cameraman just die?
Oh my god!
So it was like, holy shit, and then you hear the crowd say, holy shit, and you're never gonna get a crowd chance like that. Like,
Did he make it?
huh?
Did the cameraman survive?
The cameraman's alive.
Okay.
Yeah. So usually you will see call sign if something's not a part of the show. You see the referees and all these paramedics. They come on down and they go like X and all that. Like, and sometimes they would incorporate it into the show, but if it's like, hey, this person is he's injured, they cannot. Yeah, they have to bring him out. So yeah, here's this. So the clip I'm about to bring. So Shawn Michaels in the white, he's outside the ring. Here comes him.
Oh!
Yeah, you do hear the snap. That is insane.
I mean, you're falling on a camera.
But also, and you had The Rock. He disappeared into Hollywood. He left wrestling around 2004, and in 2011 he comes back. He challenges, John Cena.
I remember that.
Yeah.
So, again, it was a pay-per-view match and all that, and The Rock, like I remember how, had this little pay-per-view party at our place, and we were knocked up on lots of food, drinks, and all that, and to see like The Rock, come back, and we're like, yeah, of course we want to see, we want to see, The Rock, win and all that, and so anyway, it's just a really, really, cool moment. Like, yeah, our boy won and all that other shit. And so, I mean, that's way too long, but yeah, I don't know. So, I would just say, I will show you guys a match and be like, what did you think of it? Because you will be like, holy shit, let's see more of this and all that.
I miss wrestling.
Hopefully go back to it. There's going to be parts that are cringy as fuck, but you have to stick around and all that. So this is a show that will never end.
No, I know.
That makes sense.
The biggest entertainment industry that will make you feel something. Like, that is definitely worth watching.
That's for sure.
Yep.
I would say, just to add on to the topic, I think we all have seen this, The Twilight Zone. That is one that definitely hits the feel vibes of whether either hopeful or fearful. Like, I remember the ones that they came out with in the 90s. Yeesh, that shit really messed with me when I was a kid.
Twilight's a movie, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Movies we'll save for another day.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. We went off on wrestling there. I did. That was
Dude, that was a really good one, man.
It's weird to think of wrestling as a TV show. I mean, it's not, but it is, if that makes sense.
It is. Yeah.
It's a live broadcast television program, basically.
I know that if I ever want to go see something, I just want to see Scott Johnson be the ref. that Joe and I know.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Scott. Yeah, from all the indie shows. Yeah.
Yeah.
John Cena right here.
Look at that, man. Lifting that, man.
Get him. Fuck yeah!
Wow.
Two. And you could tell the crowd, whoa, like what? And yeah, everyone, like, and they're all like banging on the rail and everything. They're just like, no, like, come on. So
Even John Cena's like, fuck.
So of course, John Cena, he decides to mock The Rock. So there's this move that The Rock does where he takes off an elbow pad and he does the people's elbow. but watch this. This is Miami, Florida, at the
Oh,
Oh.
shit.
rock bottom.
Shit.
Here we go. 1, 2. You can look at the place erupt in that arena in Miami.
Son of a bitch.
The Rock is billed at Miami, Florida, so this is his hometown. Look at that, man.
Wow.
So Black Adam versus Peacemaker. But look at that. The crowd on their feet cheering, just going ridiculous. Yeah. Anyway.
Next thing you know, he just looks in the mic and goes, Shazam.
All right, yeah.
Well, I guess we'll wrap up this episode of the Petty Cash Podcast. This is Sabrina.
Danny.
Charles.
Joe.
Vinny.
And tune in next time. Remember to slow down and chew your food.
All right, we still good?
Yep.
We're here. Hello?
Hello?
And test. Yep.
Perfect.
I like to move it.
Maurice, get me my camembert.
Yes, King Julian.
Camembert.
Mort, go away.
No, King Julian. I am your servant.
Go away. Maurice, take care of the annoying one.
Oh, gosh.
What the hell?
You seen Madagascar? King Julian, Maurice, Mort?
Actually, no, I haven't.
Wait, really?
Oh,
Wow.
Never seen
That's a
it?
fun movie you should check out.
I was interested in the girls around that.
That's fair. That's fair.
Fair.
Check out Madagascar, man. It's a classic.
Yeah.
When you got like a little classic. All right, go on.
I mean,
go on.
yeah, it's good. I don't know if I'd
I wouldn't call
Well,
it
it's one of DreamWorks' better movies.
better. Okay. Yeah.
Shrek, How to Train Your Dragon.
There's that.
No, those are the DreamWorks classics.
Yes.
I would say Madagascar is 50-50. I enjoy it, but I wouldn't say it's up there as a classic, but that's
I'm
just
not
me.
saying that, but I am saying that it's one of DreamWorks' better movies they've made.
Yeah. It definitely has a lot of meme material. That's for sure.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Especially the penguins. Exactly. Yeah. You didn't see me.
Why are we still talking about this movie? Start the episode.
Okay.
Right now!